at high noon in Jamaica on Wednesday, April the 5th, 2023, on the Bridge 99, the only station that really rates the Jamaicans who live abroad, the people who carry our soul anywhere they go in the world. And we relate to them, we rate them, we want their voices to be heard, we want them to understand what's happening in our land, the Bridge 99 FM. And the program, The Public Eye. The Public Eye has an open mind. I'm Ronald Thwaites, and the Honorable Pearnel Charles Sr. is the co-host on this program. For the next 2 hours, join us as we explain to you all of the events that are happening in your land. We'll join Erwin Clare of Arijam for the Global Connection in just a few minutes. And later on, Maurice Foster. Well, no, look, I'm getting all kinds of connection here, but Maurice Wilson of the G.C. Foster College of Physical Education is our guest. And then later on, as if we could ever stop talking about champs, we invite Vincent Morrison. Vincent Morrison, the veteran trade unionist, to join us to talk about some of the elements of the industrial climate in Jamaica today. That's the agenda from our side on the Public Eye. You can call us. It's 876-551-5782 and 876-676-4996. Remember, you can also watch our live stream on the bridge99fm.com, wherever you are in the world. On Instagram, it's at the Bridge99FM. And better still, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Bridge99FM. So please, stay with us on the Bridge99 FM. Mr. Charles, greetings.
Greetings, my brother. How are you?
Well, thank you. Are you over the excitement of champs? Which team you carried?
But I said a problem now. I was not privileged to be
one of the champ schools.
In the champ schools. Even those days to come and see. But we didn't have champs those days.
Well, we had something preceding champs. It's been there for a long while.
Oh, yes.
But it was very restricted, and now it's very open.
But I told you that we used to have what I would call country champs.
Oh?
In other words, all the schools in Central
in the area,
used to go to Brownstone and run. And I was selected as the runner.
Oh, see?
I didn't tell you? I didn't know the show?
No.
Okay, well, when you are in a race...
We need your history lessons every week,
The crowd follow you, you know what I mean? Right? So I was selected to run like much in 100 yards.
But you're a short-foot man, I mean, never mind.
Get what up.
What happened?
The crowd catch me.
The crowd run along with you and catch you.
In other words, the man them run left you. And the crowd catch me. And someone in the crowd reach up before me. So me just disappear.
That's extraordinary. Well, that's nice.
At the park in Brownstone.
So in those days, what you wear? You wear a boogers? Not named Spike?
Well, I don't know if I had shoes. I don't think
you had the barefoot, the barefoot derby.
And then the butter shoes.
Yes.
I told about the butter shoes.
Butter, we remember that. Boogers.
Boogers.
Crepe.
But when son reach it, if anybody failed their school.
Yes, you ever put it in them nose.
Them asked, whoever on shoes, them said, Mr. Brown's boy, son, go for him. You take off his shoes and put on your nose, and the man wake up.
And the ammonia catch it. The shoes bottom smell, or the shoes... Oh, Lord, yes, I indeed know that. That is
when water and sun catch that.
Yes.
It's better than any smelling salt.
It's like the sargassum then. Let us remind our listeners that we are facing in Jamaica this problem. Is it a problem? Yes, it is. Of the sargassum, that is the weed that's coming, particularly to areas on the south coast.
Yes.
And we were privileged to have Professor Mona Weber last week talking about it. But I am hoping to get a response from the government, because my aspiration is that they would be canvassing those countries that are dealing with this orgasm. Professor Weber in the newspapers in Jamaica this morning says...
There's something she said there which is frightening.
Yes, the arsenic.
The
arsenic.
The arsenic,
yes.
She didn't tell us that. I don't recall.
Not as much. But also she pointed out that some of the territories of the Eastern Caribbean are dealing with it very creatively.
Yes.
And that their technology to remove the arsenic and to make what is remainder a biomass for animal feed or for fertilizer. We need, look here, if they have it, if they have that technology, we through CARICOM or by paying our money must get that.
Ronnie, you have to give the devil what is due to him, my mother used to say.
All right.
This is where we want our university areas to come in.
Yeah. In fact, that was a lack. That was an immediate question when one read Professor Weber's speech, and maybe it's happening.
But they're doing it. It's
a University of the West Indies.
Yes.
And so if the West,
they're the one who have to do the thing and then call in the ministers
and the government has to partner with them and say whatever you learn, come let us try and apply.
Yes, that's why you have technologists.
Yes. And you have a scientific research council.
That's right.
Yes.
In other words, nobody needs to tell, as you said the word, the scientific research council should be doing the research and then share it with the private sector, public sector.
Yeah.
And let us feel that.
But we need.
If I ask you what do they do, what do you tell me?
Well, I don't really know. That's the thing.
Don't go any further.
Enough said.
Now, if they ever solve this problem or do it publicly, that man is pulling it out from St. Thomas, St. Elizabeth, and around the place, and truck carrying it, it's make a start.
You would have hope rather than despair. And a feeling that this thing is coming upon us and we can't do anything about it. When in fact we can.
We'll be saying make more come. Because guess what? We are putting it together.
Yes.
Because in some country they're packing it now,
Well, I didn't know that.
Yes. I saw it as warning in some part of America, right? And they have their machine ready to gather it.
Well, we need to know. We need to do.
Take it to their.
We are as bright as anybody, and we need to be in a position where we can benefit from what appears to be a disaster. So let's encourage our private sector, our scientific community, and certainly the university to jump on this one. And there's no silos, there's no business about this is in Barbados or St. Lucia, but not in Jamaica. No. Look here, we're all one. All that matters, all that made the difference is where the boat stopped. The other thing, though, related to that I wanted to ask you about before we join Erwin Clare in just a little while. Remember we spoke about access to the beach last week?
Yes.
Well, I don't know. I've been watching a series on TVJ, Television Jamaica, and it really appears, at least in Trelawney, that Jamaicans are being systematically kept away from our beaches. And it is the attitude of those who control the beach, the attitude of the hotel industry, is they are courting their own disaster if they think they can exclude Jamaicans and get away with it. Our fuse is short.
Why do you say courting their disaster rather than our disaster?
Well, yes,
because if you tell a man that because he's black or born in Jamaica, and him used to bathe, and then can't go to know. You know you are the one creating the problem.
Well, this is the point, but it's a problem for me who think I'm secure and behind fence and into hotel room as much as it is for the society at large. That's the point.
But last week we agree that there is some sort of protection need to be given to private.
Look, sir, I accepted your formula.
Yes.
You can have your private beach, but you must make sure that there is a beach adjacent, which is public access. At the same standard.
And clean, same like that
one. And what we're saying now, and our diaspora must help us to achieve that which we accept, but it's not reality. That is not happening now, and it is a shame and a reproach, and you are courting social disaster. And don't tell me about police and soldiers. I'm going to correct that. Well, this is time for the Global Connection. Have we got our friends from New York ready? Erwin Clare, are you there? Not yet. Okay, well, we look forward to that connection as soon as possibly. Yeah, so, the gap between aim and achievement is a problem in Jamaica, We say we're going to do something. We say it as if it is happening, and it's not happening.
Well, it has been around for a long time, that people wake up with one idea and by sun come up. It's gone,
No, we can't have that.
But let's go back to the thing, because the sargassum thing is very serious.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the Scientific Council. Why wouldn't that body, along with some of the areas in universities that are experimenting, why could they take that on and then give us the lead?
Well, I think they should. I'm understanding that our friend Aaron Clare isn't available today, but our audience in New York is with us, and so we greet them, and we encourage them to have strong red eye. It is a lovely day in Jamaica. I don't know what it's like in New York and in the tri-state area that is covered by Aerojam, but we always want to make you slightly longing for home.
Well, and we always give me a chance to say to our New York friends who used to know me and dash me away.
You just looking notice.
Of course I look, and I look in notice. I look in my friend to remember me and call me, man.
All right.
Like I know that you still love me.
All right. Okay. Well, no, but listen now. I attended, like you, university in the States in the 1960s.
Yes.
And at that time, I think for the whole 4 years, there was one phone call made to Jamaica, and it was only because there was a health emergency on my part, and they had to speak to my parents.
Yeah. No. And that your parents could receive a phone call. They have a phone where they could receive it.
Exactly.
My poor parents.
Three gardens and have none.
3 days to reach them.
Well, indeed.
Yes.
Now you have to send telegram.
Yes.
And pay drogage from the post office to Miss Rita's house.
Don't forget what you're going to say, because I cannot make a pass this.
Please.
I am in the field in Tobalski with my mother, planting her cabbage suckers. You know it's cabbage suckers?
Yes, sir.
Young under the yam peas. And I saw about 10 people coming from the hills, coming down, shouting, Miss Charles, Miss Charles, Miss Charles. I said, what is this? A telegram come for you.
Oh, Lord.
Them don't carry the telegram,
Oh, them just no said come. Something
come to tell her.
Yeah, they tell her.
And then she said to me, well, get dressed, we have to go out, because that telegram is at the house. You see from where we're coming, Ronnie?
Yes, sir.
They wouldn't touch a telegram,
No, but
So Mama was so worried. I said, Mama, why are you worried? Suppose somebody said if they want to come and spend time with you. And when she go, so say, so done. Somebody said, Miss Charles, I come with this man. She said to me, boy, if you just say maybe a little longer, you could be a prophet. I'd never forget it.
No,
never forget it.
But I understand her worry, because a telegram used to mean somebody dead.
Telegram was a special document that comes, and when it comes, the district gather.
Yeah. To know certain news.
What is in the telegram.
Yeah.
So the telegram man coming, they wouldn't touch it,
No.
They wouldn't carry the telegram to Tobalski, nearly 3-4 miles for her to open it. They come to tell her that telegram, she have to pack up and go to read the telegram.
So I'm asking.
I thought you said we haven't come far.
Well, no, this is it. I want to make the point that technology has changed all of that. We've come a far way. Now, have we used the distance that we have come to the best advantage? Is a moral and very practical question that we have to answer. Nowadays, you make a telephone call and to someone abroad, a WhatsApp call. It costs you nothing.
Yes.
You don't have to go any distance for it.
It's instant.
And it's instant, and it is as clear as you and I talking together in the studio.
Sometimes clearer.
Well, no, there you are. So now, let's dig deeper down, and let us say, are we using the science? Are we using the privileges of this age to the best advantage?
No. The answer is no. And I go back to what we said earlier about sargassum. We who are non-scientists, right? In other words, the scientific council, the areas in university that are doing the experiments, right? They should, I don't want to say glad to say a thing, but they should jump at it.
Clearly.
Because here is something that out of it can maybe become a big thing. Because fertilizer, feeding for chickens and
for cattle,
and this and that. And when it start to rotten,
there you are. Okay.
Problem.
No. Look at this though. It is extremely significant then that we not only welcome these technological improvements, but that we devote ourselves to making the best use for the common good of each of them, not for private appropriation, but for the common good. Now, I'm asking a deep question of our listeners and ourselves. Do we have a sufficient conviction, commitment to something called the common good in Jamaica? I wonder. Or are we on a selfish journey?
It's first to family. Many of our diaspora people right now look back to their district as to who is doing well, who they can help.
Yeah.
You understand? It never used to be. When people start to go out to farm work, the man them used to bring home a grip, and each man get a dungaree.
Yeah.
You know a dungaree?
Yes, sir.
Right? So, in other words, there was a commitment to community, whether you're born here or family.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have gone away from that.
We have.
Right?
And I know why.
Well, why?
Migration has had a lot to do with it. Those who went away not like the farm workers who came back.
Yeah.
But you broke the family structure, formal or informal, married or common law. You broke that when the most active, sometimes the strongest, the most educated person went, whether it was to England or to America or to Canada. Now, in the age before the technology of an instant phone call, cheap, then oftentimes the relationships got stretched. And you found that those who were left felt abandoned. Many of them left the countryside. Yes?
Yeah.
You broke that sense of community. The other thing which you may not agree with, well, maybe you will, given your experience, was that the bauxite industry has screwed up the Jamaican peasantry.
Well, what it has done is not only separate you from those who have gone 100 years ago.
Make it impossible for you to stay where you're there.
You don't know who is who again.
No, and your economic base has been compromised by the gully and the crater and the cavern that it caused.
I saw a young man who told me that my name is Cousin.
Yes, sir.
Although he born in Trelawney. I said, how you mean? He said, well, he was up in Lime Tree Garden to Walski, and father moved him to Trelawney.
We're taking a break at 20 past.
And he born down at Trelawney, but my name is still Cousin.
Yeah.
But let's go. This is also to the diaspora people.
Yeah.
Because they left a lot of their people in certain areas of
sir.
Jamaica. And they can't find some.
No. So look at what we have done. We can speak of all the benefits of the extractive industry, but we have not fully understood the social dislocation and destruction that it has brought about.
Except the difference between me and you is that I believe that it could have been done differently.
And there's no difference. I believe so, but I have lost faith.
It has not been done. The way, not even what has been documented.
Absolutely, and therefore...
Because I sent for a copy of the contract.
Yeah, the contract with the bauxite company.
Yes,
yeah.
And when I see what the Norman Manley and Bustamante period said, what they told them they would have done.
Yeah.
Nothing like that.
Precisely.
And not only they are wrong, Ronnie, the modern day us have not seen to it.
So why are we continuing to walk down the same path?
Well,
no, this is foolishness. And the Minister of Finance telling us that if we don't get or instructing lawyers to tell us in the court, tell the court that if they don't allow the continuation of mining in the area that some people feel is part of the cockpit country, that either you're going to have to raise taxes or the path money going short. No, sir, wrong.
But hold on now. Take it easy with it.
No, not taking that easy.
Hold on. Let me ask you.
Okay.
If we are getting 600 million from the bauxite industry, which we use to do what he say we are doing,
right,
and we don't get it,
You can't.
You either have to abandon the project.
No, you have to. You
have to raise it somewhere.
Well, we've said this before, and I want to
you have to borrow the money.
Again. No, what you have to do is spend the little money that you have without the 600 million better. One, you have to economize. There's no sense of that happening. And secondly, you have to look for alternate and less destructive, non-destructive sources of income. And we're not doing that at all.
It's nice to say it the way you say it. It sounds sweet.
So, more than sound.
but you know my problem with the bauxite industry.
Well,
but I still am concerned that if it was done the proper way,
yes, sir,
we could have survived better.
So tell me now, tell me directly, with UC Russell, with the Noranda people who are the present people there, where is the strong statement by the partners, the state, the defenders and representatives of the people that, look here, you're not taking out one truckload of dirt from this country unless you restore the land that it came from? Where is that energy? Where is the minister's statement? Where is the prime minister's diktat? Where is the remembrance of history, except from Pearnel Childs Sr.? Yes, of the contract, the original intent, the first and important condition on which we started this thing in 1948.
Don't leave out. Don't just go to the prime minister, you know.
When?
Because your side laugh after me.
No. Several prime ministers.
Parliamentarians.
No, absolutely.
Who we give the authority.
Absolutely.
To manage it for us.
We have let ourselves down. Why do we continue to do that?
Every time I get up crying.
Ernest Smith, where are you? John Pearnel Charles.
Ernie crying Parliament, you know.
Indeed, sir.
When you remember what they do in Tabasco.
In Southwest St. Anne.
Yeah.
Brothers and sisters abroad, these are the subjects that are concerning us in Jamaica. When we come back, Maurice Wilson of the GC Foster, reputable athletics coach and commentator, thoughtful person, joins us. This is the Bridge 99, the only radio station that's catering to the diaspora everywhere in the world, Jamaican lovers, wherever they are. Pearnel Childs and myself are the hosts. We're joining with Ira Jam in New York for the tri-state area. And welcoming Maurice Wilson to the program. How are you, sir?
Good afternoon, sirs. It is indeed a pleasure speaking to two of Jamaica's finest, most personable, knowledgeable politicians.
Oh,
it is indeed a pleasure for me.
Thank you very much.
You're rubbing off some of anything on me.
quite the reverse.
And incidentally, gentlemen, I'm in an orange shirt, but someone is sitting not too far from me in a green shirt. But it's all about sports there at GC Foster College.
Well, that's lovely. And if it was Pearnel and I, what we would do is swap shirts, you know.
Let me give you a quick one about the shirts. I went to look. I was on a campaign, so I went to a house, and I heard somebody ask, "Who is out there?" Uh-huh. And I said, "Pearnel." I said, "Hold on, I put in on my shirt." When I went in, the man had a nice green shirt. Guess what I see on the chair?
What?
Orange shirt.
I think that's a wise woman, Morris.
This is a man who have two shirts. Anyone coming?
That actually speaks to something very, very essential about Jamaican politics. But that's another story.
And about the Jamaican man that you think don't have no sense.
Yes, true.
Him not jail, but him have a shirt to accommodate you.
Indeed. Maurice Wilson, Champs has finished. Much of our audience is in the diaspora, and they would be grateful from a person of your pedigree and character to tell us, what did you think of Champs this year? Are we on a good, strong path? Give us your estimation.
Well, I think it was a great championships for many reasons. We were coming back from COVID. This is the first time we would have had a full audience in the stadium.
Yes.
I think the meet was well organized. The performances were earth-shattering, if I should say. There are a couple moments that reminded me of 2008 in Beijing. And I am, at this point, trying to understand, trying to decide if this is going to happen every 2 or 3 years and then we forget about the moment and we do not exploit it. But in general, I think it was an excellent championships. I think it speaks to the talent of our young Jamaicans. It speaks to the coaching, the administration, and there are a lot of things happening in Jamaica that is going well that we are not highlighting. And so it was a very positive moment for all Jamaicans over the past week.
Let me pick you up on a couple of things. First of all, I think first credit must go to the sponsors. The fact that Grace Kennedy has invested in it and done so consistently and apparently to an adequate extent is a plus for the commitment of Jamaican business to the upliftment of our young people. Agreed?
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah. Then there is the administration of it, because the Keith Wellington team expressed broadly. I know it's how many facets it has, how much technical support they get. It went seamlessly. It went largely on time, I believe. These are the Jamaicans can do complex things well.
I am in support of that statement. I have always, when I look at how ISSA runs Girls and Boys Championships, which is the best event of its kind in the world, it convinced me that there's nothing that we decide that we want to do that we cannot do well.
Whoa, what a statement. That's a very optimistic and a very well justified statement. Then as to the performance now of the athletes, I mean, Usain Bolt must be looking behind him rather longingly. I mean, for a schoolboy to come in sub 10, that is a sign of things to come. What do you say, Coach Wilson?
Well, I'm in agreement again, and your analysis is totally correct. Now, what we're sure of, Usain Bolt never ran sub 10 seconds at the age of Nkrumah.
Ooh.
Usain Bolt, when he ran 9:97, I think it was, for the World Junior record, we decided that this young man would be great. The we, meaning the public, the coaches. And so at this point, we could think the same for Nkrumah.
Yes.
And it speaks then to the replenishment, if I should say, of talent as we continue to emerge from the COVID era. We look at also Alana Reid, who ran 10.92 seconds.
Yeah.
Again, if you were to contextualize that, if you were to put that in perspective, separate and apart from Shelley and Fraser Price, Elaine Thompson era, and Sharika Jackson, and to some extent Kemba Nelson, we have not seen any youngster running that kind of time. Of course, Brenna Williams would have done that, but she did that a couple years later. Well, she has been consistent as a World Junior athlete, and so the expectations are there. But to see this young lady coming out, still in high school, and running 10.92 seconds, it is news for the world.
Yes, it is.
Go
ahead.
Let me ask you a question. I'm very concerned as to whether or not we are switching the particularly rural schools only to sports. I need to be advised as to whether other areas of development is being pushed just like sports in not only KC and JC, but deep rural schools. I noticed one or two of them come in, but are we pushing it out there? Is there anybody who's in charge of that we can move from sports to science? You
realize it's a countryman talking to you, Maurice Wilson.
All right, yes, and I do appreciate that. And I'm a countryman. I'm also a countryman.
Good.
But let me again put things in perspective. Now, a youngster from Sydney Pagan will pass 6 CSEC subjects with grade 1s, and it doesn't make the news. But if he wins the 800 meters at Boys and Girls Championships, he makes the news. And so what I would suggest, what is in my mind, is that there has to be a twinning of sports with the academics. Sports undoubtedly gives the publicity and also generate support that the academicians can piggyback on. Because we must be, and it is something that is all over in the world. A Florida state, you're going to hear how well they are doing in American football in comparison to youngsters there with a GPA of 3.99. And it is something that is prevalent right throughout the world. And so we have to find a way to twin what is now the most successful emerging new economy, right? Which is sports, the sports industry. $3 billion worth out there. We have to find a way to twin both entities, the academics and the sports, so that we can create that almost, I should say, total human being.
How do we do that? Because we've been quite unsuccessful, except in exceptional cases, in doing that, and that is the main objection of people like Muggy Graham and myself and many others, as to the trend of denuding the country schools to bring them into the well-funded city schools to make up champs or Manning Cup.
And I think it is not very difficult. When I went to Homewood, when I started working there, I had posited a vision, a plan known as Vision 2000. And my main aim, gentlemen and listeners, was to see how many students I could get on scholarship. And so when I started, I have to be very careful, but we had a lot of youngsters from a particular region in Trelawney, and they were not doing well academically. But the lure of scholarships and with their talent, a lot of these youngsters graduated from some of the top universities in America.
Really?
University of Alabama,
Yes,
University of Arkansas, University of Auburn. And so what I'm saying is that they may start at a particular level, but with the motivation used through sports, if they are under the proper guidance. I have seen, for example, youngsters coming into GC Foster College, basic qualification. We would have created programs for them, whether it be sports massage, whatever it is, and we do a kind of stackable sort of credentials in order to get them to matriculate.
Yes.
And some of these youngsters, they have a master's degree.
Wonderful.
They're productive persons in society.
Sure.
And so you really have to have that sort of monitoring on both ends. But there has to be a visionary approach to how you're going to integrate both areas.
You have touched this soft spot in my brain, because the monitoring and the managing of these children in the hills, because if you go to a guy who can run even a little above 10, and him come from where I was coming from, I mean, if I wear shoes, right? I don't have no food, no big thing, and you tell him, say, him can come to KC, he will be glad. You follow me? But you can't just leave him there.
No, you have to learn to read and write. Yes, learn to.
So when you carry him to KC, you don't just carry him to run. You follow me?
Yeah.
You carry him to develop, as he said a while ago, they go to other universities and they come out as big people.
But Maurice,
they get a break.
Where is the thrust to that? Do you see that as being enveloped in all of the arrangements for the reactions to the support for champs?
Well, let me be very honest. I think ISSA has done a lot in terms of trying to get athletes with a basic qualification to be able to participate, but it doesn't stop there. It is important that the school administrators, the chief school administrators, supported by the alumni and the coaches and the sports management team, identify each youngster and see how they can help them. So I have a policy for the attempt to become a professional athlete. That youngster must go through a college program. So the possibility may exist, that they don't leave college being certified for many reasons.
Yeah. At least
if you're a netballer and you're doing a bachelor's program, you may miss a semester because you're in Australia.
Okay.
But we have programs in place for you to pick up that course.
Yeah. That's fine.
When you get the opportunity.
Sure, and that's not the optional extra.
You should have gone through some formal training, some discipline.
No, you got
getting up, going to classes.
Right.
And I strongly believe that there's no youngster leaving high school that should take on that pathway of a professional athlete without being engaged in some formal program.
Boy, this is such a good interview, Pearnel.
Sir,
this is
I just want to I just want to tell you that if you could get a copy of what you have just said.
That has to be government policy. Policy for the schools, policy for the parents.
Well, gentlemen, I've been saying this for many years, because I've been exposed to two different worlds. I am on the sports side, and I do a little on the academic side.
You do a lot.
And I've been preaching it.
Yes. Well,
as a matter of fact, I just spoke with a parent that has the second fastest youngster in high school. And I said to her, I said, listen, you do not have to send the youngster to GC first, but I wanted to take from these points. I said, make sure that youngster, if the child is not able to get a degree certification, they get a skill certification.
Okay, that's fine.
I say, I've been exposed and I've seen it too many times.
Mm-hmm.
And the conversation was maybe 2 hours ago.
Well, no, look at that. But it's on the correct
line. Mr. Wilson, before you run, let me just tell you.
We're taking a break.
Please do not stop
advancing that.
A little man from Lime Tree Garden who can come to JC because of that. If he got that chance, don't stop him.
No, but if he's coming only to run.
No.
And he can't read
but
and write.
what he said a while ago.
Yes, that's a different thing. But then I want to ask after the break, Maurice Wilson, because the contention of some people is that the only schools that can win champs now is those that can raise $20-30 million of alumni support and buy in a whole heap of students. That and the question of indiscipline at champs that has raised its head. Our subjects with Maurice Wilson, reputed coach and principal of GC Foster, on the public eye when we return. Linking in with our friends at Jam Radio in New York City, talking to the diaspora all over the world and conversing with Maurice Wilson of the GC Foster College about the place of sports in Jamaica's life in our education system. Maurice Foster, the comment has been made, looking at the results of champs, that you have KC, you have JC, you have Calabar, and then you have one awful dip, even among the first 10, highest 10 performing schools, which clearly indicates that there's an imbalance. Is that to be accepted? Is that the way of the world, or does that speak to a misapplication of resources? What would the people at Peters feel, or at Merlin Otte or Robert Lightman feel when they can't find a place at all because of their poor resources? What should we do?
All right. First of all, I am talking to two of the realest politicians Jamaica has ever seen, and I want to be real now.
God have mercy.
The truth, gentlemen and listeners, is that alumni support makes a lot of difference in these programs. Now, if you were to look at the 3 or so top schools, the Kingston College, the Jamaica College, when you look at the sort of, if I should use the term, fanatical support that they get from past students in relation to sport, it is a direct correlation to their performance. Now, what you'll find over time, a school like, for example, Petersfield, over time, with success, will develop strong alumni support. I can use Homewood, for example. In 2001, you were not seeing maroon and gold in the stadium, apart from Wolmer's. Now you are seeing, some remnants, because they are not as dominant as they were a couple of years ago. Okay. But that past student support not only generated funding for sports, but for computer labs for other areas. So there is some amount of twinning with the support over time. So that is something that we think makes some amount of sense.
Explain Heidel then.
All right, so Heidel entered the competition, if I'm correct, 13 years ago. Now, if you were to look at in the stadium, you did not see that sort of support. But the difference is, though, they were very fortunate to have Mrs. Bennett, who is a sports enthusiast, but is also someone in the academic world. And she would have played her role in assisting a lot of youngsters from certain socio-economic situations. And there's this bond between parents, even when they were at prep school, for those persons who used to attend prep school champs, they had the most support. Parents were there every step of the way, and they have been able to generate that sort of setup. But then the coach, Corey Bennett, went through the ranks. He coached at prep school, did his orientation there, then went to high school. And so you find that sort of support system from parents and community. Over time, I guarantee you, in the next 10 years, Hydel will have the same sort of alumni support, similar to Edwin Allen or a Homewood, or one of those schools that have done extremely well. On the female side, now what we have noticed, the contrast is an institution, for example, Veer Technical, would have dominated for many years in championships.
Sure.
Now that they're not winning, you're not seeing that support. And I'm almost sure that the support is the same for the academic side. And so you ask the question, how can we fix all these issues, galvanize the support on both sides, so it's not only a sport-orientated setup within the schools, and so there's some relationship between the academic programs and the sporting programs.
Hold on a minute, though, Maurice Wilson, because what you seem to be pointing to is that winning is the answer to everything, and that you only get support when you're likely to win. That is a dangerous philosophy to embed.
Well, I will not say that, because I could give you a perfect example.
Please.
Let us look at the Wolmer's program. Boys and females. Wolmer's won champs on the female and on the male side once. I think about 2010 thereabout. But they always have a program, and their students have excelled. They have done well. Arden is at champs, as we know, a very good academic school, and they participate. I think that there's a huge difference when persons accept that the youngsters can go participate recreationally to some extent, and we don't expect these sort of phenomenal performances that almost align them to superstars or professionals. There has to be a distinction.
Okay, well, that's what I'm anxious for. I think it's there subliminally, but also I worry because you cannot premise support for young people on the basis that only those who win get it.
And I'm in agreement. And that is why I'm going to highlight a program, St. Jago High School. They have consistently done well at boys and girls champs on both sides. And I think they have won a number of championships a couple of years ago. But for the boys, I think maybe once. I'm not sure, but don't hold me to that. Mm-hmm. But the support is always there. So they support a sporting program, but they also have a very good academic program. They won school challenge last night.
Isn't that so?
Mr. Wilson.
Yes, sir.
Permit me to divert for 1 second.
Not a problem.
I'm so happy to remember Teacher Allen, who sits beside me in the
house,
in Parliament. That's in Parliament. And to hear his name, and I know that when whoever it was that gave the school Edwin Allen, it was not a nationally accepted thing. However,
unfortunately,
today I am wherever Mr. Allen is.
Of course, he's in heaven.
Hearing it. Then Miss Bennett. I mean, I was in the cabinet when she said she's going to set up school, and to see.
But let us make sure that your pride is well placed.
But I want to go one point before you come in. I want you not to just be a sports school. If you're going to be a sports school, then make it be a sports school.
Different.
Right?
Different.
Make it be like Foster.
No, and Foster is not that way. Morris is saying that they make sure they find programs that build up the professional, the vocational, the academic side while you're run and kick.
Well, sir, I want the position that you are in. You should be able to say to these schools, there are people like Ronnie Thwaites and me who want to tell the diaspora that you're not just getting runners.
No.
You're getting doctors and lawyers.
Absolutely. That's what he said.
Trained.
But sir, so let me just share something that is not really spoken about a lot. Now, my sons graduated from high school, and one has, I think he has 10 grade ones. Right? But you may have a young man with 5 CSEC in grade 2, and they get a scholarship, $50,000 to Ivy League institution, and that young man with 10 ones is not able to get that scholarship. In other words, I'm saying that there's a great advantage out there for those who are involved in sports. And once they do, and I'm going to put it this way, please do not interpret it incorrectly. If you do average performance academically and you perform in sports, the opportunity is there for you to get a top of the line scholarship that gives you all the opportunities is also available.
That's all right.
And so what? And I said it earlier. When I started, my aim was to see how many students I could get on scholarships. After I met the number of 100, I stopped counting. Right. So I think that the opportunity that is there for those who are involved in sports, if they are guided properly, will make such a huge difference in terms of opportunities.
Are we having people from abroad coming to sit in the stadium?
Of course.
To identify who they want to take to their university?
A lot of them. On Saturday, we saw so many coaches all over the Midwest,
schools
New York,
in. Yes.
Florida, who would have been coming in. So from that standpoint, we take care, I would think, it's not definable data, but I think maybe about 15% of our graduates would have gone at scholarship through sports.
That's the first time I've heard that estimate. If it is so, that's impressive. But as always, I'm concerned about the 85%, and that they don't feel they're failures, and they don't feel that that everybody, the 100%, understand that there has to be a proper blend between the culture of the body and the culture of the mind. They are connected, and that mentoring, that monitoring that you speak of, which I think may not be as strong and universal as it ought to be, is where we should put our energy now.
Yes, I am in agreement. The 15%, I was referring to those who participate.
No, I got you.
Right. And so if you have, for example, I would say, let's say 200 class 1 youngsters who would be graduating from school.
Yeah.
Once their academic qualification is 5,
the sports is going to propel them.
Yes.
That's good.
And so I don't see why we shouldn't be able to have, even though that some of these high schoolers get non-readers.
Yes.
But there has to be programs in place to facilitate them.
There you are. Tell me now, before we're just a couple more minutes, the issue of discipline at champs, have the mistakes at 2023 champs been overblown? Are we in danger of overreacting as Pearnel and I think?
I read your articles. Sometimes I'm behind by a week. So I'll be reading Wednesday paper next week, and I read your article.
Yeah.
Mr. Charles, you need to write some articles also.
I've been telling him.
Yes, but all right. So let me share with you. The behavior of the youngsters. Some of it is just a reflection of what is happening. No, I'm not going to behave or speak as some of our prominent Jamaicans speak when they try to justify certain things. But what I will say is this. When you associate, for example, with youngsters, if you're not careful, you develop practice language. Some of the language that they use because you want to come down to their level and have that conversation. Right. No. Well, it's the same thing. You're in a society where you point a gun finger, which means that you're celebrated. The intent is not to harm someone. But this is how we celebrate. We put our hands in the air and we make sounds and so on. So when a youngster, for example, digs deep, comes through the line, points a gun finger, it is, I am almost 100% sure, it is not an ill intent. It is a celebratory sort of mood, which is not what we would want. And so it is just the socialization, so that is one. Secondly, I find that sports persons tend to be very aggressive. I find that the school rivalry makes it even worse. But I don't think we're at a state of panic. I think we have done a lot. ISSA, other intermediary bodies would have done a lot. Schools to kind of fix the situation, right? I don't think we're at that point where we see rampant indiscipline. I don't think we're at that point. That's my personal belief.
Well, I think that's a very mature position, and that's exactly the view I think that Pearnel and I take. It is important that we hold the standard very high, but the socialization, the proper tutelage of the athletes as to what is appropriate and what is not before they get to champs. Yes, as well as makes all the difference. Maurice Wilson, what a happy interview. Thank you so much for sharing with our audience.
I listen to you, gentlemen, and it's really a pleasure to be interacting directly with both of you.
And you're going, and we are not giving you a gun salute.
Maurice Wilson, head coach at the GC Foster.
And if I got one, it will be forgiven. It will be ill intent.
Coming from coach extraordinaire, commenting on the athletic scene in Jamaica, the aftermath of champs. This is the Public Eye on the Bridge 99 FM, ending the global connection. Stay with us. We come back for another hour. Thanks for being with us on the Bridge 99 FM. The program is a Public Eye. The Honorable Pearnel Charles is the co-host, and we're happy to join all of our listeners everywhere in the world. That was the Global Connection, and later on we're going to join Vincent Morrison of UCASE, the veteran trade unionist. You'll signal me when he's ready to talk about the industrial climate in Jamaica.
Somebody says
that was earlier. Remember, Erwin isn't available today. Apparently, he's stuck. But tell me now, what did you think of that interview with Maurice Wilson? Because if you followed him,
very good. You see, that's why it is good to know than to guess things, because he handles the heart and answers the question that that's been bothered.
But he leads us in a direction that should be followed. He speaks of the balance between the opportunity between sporting prowess, which gives people the capacity to go further in life.
They live, and it's a fact. Sport is very forward in America. Some people just go for sports. If you're going to football,
yes, sir.
You're going to be a handball.
Yes, sir. But when your foot's tired or when you get a blow, you need to be able to read and write, to do some maths. You need to have a profession.
That's the key. Every night you go to a sport meeting, you're likely to finish there.
Yes.
So you have to have a backup.
Well, and that's how you make a rounded personality as well.
That's right.
So I rated the interview with Maurice Wilson because he's not only celebrating the marvelous records of the young people, he's saying that we need to mentor them, bring them, engage them so that they are rounded individuals who are then more likely to be able to get what is his objective, the scholarship. But that's not happening, you know.
Is Morris in a position to spread this feeling around the place? Because
I think he is.
This is what has to go to the particular rural schools.
No, but I would like our Minister of Sports, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, to state this very clearly. Watch you know. See how well some of you do at champs. I want you to do equally well in your academic or vocational subjects. And I would like also, sir, for us to say, sporting is wonderful. We big you up. We lionize you for your talent there. Yes, give you every opportunity. But I want to see the day when we lionize the people who are making the experiments in science, who are gaining, doing the things to do with academics and vocational studies that are as prominent or as meaningful as winning champs.
That is administration, Ronnie. Because, yes, there are certain boys and girls out there who are in top areas other than sports.
Yes.
They are not being exposed.
No, but then that's what we should do if we want to achieve that balance and have a proper sense of values.
Yes.
Okay? So I like you, cherish and the respect and regard for the memory of the late Edwin Leopold Allen.
Yes.
But I want to make sure that Edwin Allen, as a school,
yes,
is doing
more than just
doing well in every aspect of it.
Yes.
Yes.
And the reason
of life.
Remember I told you the teacher Allen used to walk from Maypen.
Yes, sir. To Lesterfield.
Right?
Yes.
Those days.
Yes, sir.
I mean, there was no tax,
no.
bus, nothing much, a truck to hop.
Yes.
You could go faster than the car.
Let us tell our diaspora audience, let us remember, both in his heyday, what he stood for. He stood for the liberation of the black child in Jamaica, the primary school who couldn't graduate or attendee who couldn't go any further. Yes.
He was I did say he was infested with education. The point is this, that when Michael Manley said free education,
he walked across.
He walked.
Yes.
To the surprise of all
everybody,
the church, saying, "Where are you going, teacher? Where are you going?" And walk across, shook his hand, and said, "Thank you."
Yes.
And he wanted to do it.
Yes, sir. And many of us in different fields would have felt the same way. And also to complete the story, Teacher Allen died almost a pauper.
Yeah.
Yes. He gave himself in every respect. He could have earned money. He could have been this or that. He did nothing of the sort. He gave himself to the cause of education in Jamaica. Now, that all of that tells us lessons. And if he's happy at that the athletic
wherever
successes, I'm sure. I know where he is. Hope for athletics at Edwin Allen, he would want that they were doing as well in agricultural science, in English, in vocational studies, in religious education, all of those things.
They used to laugh at him that he had a bachelor's.
Yes.
And how he got it was to study outside.
Sure.
And laugh at him.
By extension, education.
But to show that it's not only running him on.
No.
Education, particularly for his rural boys and girls.
Absolutely.
And Ronnie, that's why I said to you earlier that Miss Bennett came to me years ago and said what she wanted to do.
Yes.
And I must tell you the truth, I didn't know I was not intelligent enough to see the possibility.
You're very intelligent. Maybe you weren't prescient enough. But here this.
I didn't appreciate the fact that it could happen.
But then we want to ask that the triumph of Heidel in girls' champs must be equaled by their capacity, their achievement in educational and social education at that institution. Yes.
And that would make Heidel really high.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. If it's not only sports, but out of that, somebody not just young Bennett, right? But you have somebody else who can carry the other side.
The important thing is Mr. Walton Small, who was the principal of Woolmer School, retired.
Yes.
He tried out in politics the last election. He didn't succeed. Yes. But I understand he's now the principal at Heidel.
Oh, yeah?
And I have regard for him, that he will do what you just said.
Yes.
Yes? Now, that is the kind of balance that we need. And that is the kind of approach that we need to secondary education generally.
We need something else. Because when you, as you say, KC, JC, and these, you have somebody abroad clapping the finger. I'll send something. Yep. So we need to know whether or not the other schools, rural schools.
I am not as sanguine as Maurice Wilson is. Yes. That in 10 years' time, you're going to find that the alumni grouping rises as they do for the former schools. I'm not sure about that. My view is that there needs to be, in addition to whatever individual schools have, there needs to be an endowment fund that people can contribute to, that is distributed according to need and according to some formula. I don't have the formula, but helps those weaker schools to participate. At least they must be able to get what Erwin Clare, our friend, offers to the people from Penn Relay. They get food.
You know what I remember? That just the other day there was a headline in the paper that Edwin Allen had to close.
Yes.
Because what?
They didn't get the school feeding money.
They didn't have any food.
Yes.
Now, this is in a farming community, you know. So farmers don't have to be in the university to graduate a big man. But a man can cut a banana and dig 2 yam and bust 2 potatoes.
Yes, sir.
You have to be so proud of these schools out there.
Indeed.
That you can carry something.
But we mustn't be proud in their poverty. We must be proud of them despite their poverty and do something about the poverty.
Yes.
Yes. So I'm going further than Maurice. I feel that if I'm giving $1 million to my school, my prestigious school, okay, 500,000 will go to the school because that's what I want. But $500 must go into an endowment fund, which is presided over by, let us say, ISSA, they're a reputable body, okay, the Intersecondary School Sports Association, and that the children who want to come from Robert Lightman in Trinityville or from Merlin Otti in Hanover, yes, or from Little London, wherever, can have a chance that they don't have to bankrupt themselves to get a bus, that they can get food when they come. You have the equivalent of Team Jamaica Bickle, which is Erwin Clare's program. Yes, that you have that in Jamaica as well, that you have their equipment, basic equipment. They don't have to wear tight up shorts and last year's jerseys, but reasonable things that you give those people confidence, yes, and that they know that they can stay at Cedric Titus or at Godfrey Stewart. They don't have to be bought and paid for to come to one of the town schools.
And so we need to make an appeal to all diaspora people, right? That they're not only attracted to the town schools, but like some of our guys who spoke about Westmoreland and Hanover.
Indeed.
And, you know,
they must invest there too.
But where you come from.
But then this takes us to, before we get to Vin Morrison, this takes us to a deeper issue of the primacy of rural development. And although we talk it, I believe that what we have seen is, apart from the few tourist areas, that over the history of our independence period has been a decline of rural culture, rural enablement, and that's a shame. Yes, Jamaica is more than Kingston. It's more than Montego Bay. It's more than Negril and Ocho See here.
Just before you leave off that, just for 10 seconds.
Sure.
When we were boys,
break after this.
When we were boys, the biggest man in the school was the headmaster, right?
Yeah.
Everything headmaster. I'm not getting the feeling. No, well, put it this way. That time it seemed as if only men were headmasters.
Yes.
You have some strong women now.
Yeah.
There's a woman in Clarendon, man, down at this bottom there.
Yeah.
Forgot her name now, but it's cool. But you need to feel your leaders, your farmers, that if there's a problem in the school, go to the headmaster.
Sure, or the principal.
Go to the principal.
Yes, okay.
You know,
so what we have to do,
leadership.
What we have to do then is to look at that education code of 1980 and give principals far more autonomy.
Yes.
Yes. So the argument is now Ministry of Education in Kingston does not try to govern Bear Technical High School.
Well, I'll give you another one. I still cannot understand.
Where are the Board of Governors?
No, not the Board of Governors
and the principal.
Yet. The pass money.
Yeah.
The principal, some of them don't even know. In fact, a principal told me that some people who get in pass shouldn't.
Yes.
And if he was brought in,
he would see that it was more equitable.
There are some students in school not getting it who should have been getting.
Yes.
And these are we need to get that principal to be the person.
Yes.
For example, running.
But then
a boy in grade 2 who is a bad man. Right? Why is he thrown out by the teacher down there, or a fight flinging stone? when the principal is sitting at his desk. You need, these are the things that, when I was a boy, if you fool around,
well,
you're going inside to teacher.
Yes, but then we have to, what you're saying is, and before we take the break, is that there has to be a recalibration of the systems of authority in our schools. And the idea of centralizing everything and removing effective control, in practice, if not in theory, from the principal has to change. This is our talk on education that we're coming up with, talking about industrial relations with Vincent Morrison. This is the Public Eye on the Bridge 99. Soon come. This is the Bridge 99 FM, beaming to the diaspora, the Jamaican connection all over the world. This is the Public Eye. The Honorable Pearnel Charles Sr. is our co-host. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for staying with us. We don't skin up on this program. We talk it straight. And we welcome you, Vincent Morrison.
I think this is my second time on the bridge, sir. Thanks very much for welcoming me, sir.
Mr. Morrison.
And I notice you have the maestro with you.
Mr. Morrison.
I hear him now.
Yes, my brother.
I vex with you. I hear us.
Say it again.
I say I vex with you. Not all man, I say, man, coach, I say, I vex with you.
I am vexed with you, too.
Well, I hear something that is different from what me and you learn and teach and is a part of. I want you to explain to us about the IDT.
IDT is the Industrial Disputes Tribunal, and I believe that Pearnel Charles is going to want to discuss with Vincent Morrison of UCASE the situation with the bauxite workers at UC Roussel at the Windalco plant right now, who are they still on strike, Vincent?
Yes, they're still out. So we are doing everything possible to see how we can get a resolution.
Yes.
Okay. So, it takes two to tango.
Yes. So Pearnel's concern is about the referral to the Industrial Dispute Tribunal.
I think that
I am a little bit surprised because as a man who knows the thing inside out.
Well, I think that you and I, there's probably about four more, has been at the table with Hugh Shearer, Michael Manley, and from the beginning, right? To go from us. And I cannot understand.
No.
I cannot understand that the Ministry of Labour refer a dispute to the Industrial Dispute Tribunal. The Industrial Tribunal call a meeting of the management and the workers, and the management and the workers agree with the Industrial Dispute Tribunal that they are going to proceed and discussion, but there will be no strike. Is that what happened?
Pearnel, you have it all wrong. Totally wrong.
Well, I'd be very happy to know I have it wrong.
We have been negotiating from last year. In January, the manager director came to the meeting and a 24-point claim in May, one off on wages. And when we asked him about the other items on the claim, Pearnel, he get up and walk out of the meeting. And since he has not made any offer on any of the other benefits, we understand that the matter was referred to the tribunal on Saturday, 2 o'clock on Saturday last. We were not advised. We were not called by the tribunal to attend that meeting. The management and the tribunal alone.
No, but Vincent, stop there. But that's not a reference to the tribunal. I mean, the tribunal did not meet after the matter was referred by the Ministry of Labour with the government, with the workers and the management.
It's the only institution in Jamaica that can refer matters to the tribunal.
Yes.
We were at the Ministry of Labour Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday of last week, and the tribunal, the company, did not move 1 inch. You know, when we talk about conciliation, when you go to conciliation, you have to give a little, take a little, and try to resolve the matter. The company position was them not negotiating. Negotiating in bad faith.
Who is this company?
So, we did not see the Minister of Labour. Pearnel Charles, as Labour Minister, would have called everybody together, and he would take over the thing and try to see how we can resolve it. Push up, Simpson Miller would have done the same. That wasn't done. Anyway.
But wait, you need to explain, because a lot of us, and I said much more than me, will be blaming you. So let us go through it. One, there's a dispute.
Yeah.
The Ministry of Labor invite management and worker to the office. You're going to have to do this
quickly.
And the Ministry of Labor would say, we cannot settle it here. We are going to refer the matter to the tribunal. And the tribunal would invite you and the other one to come to a meeting.
No, I was invited. Pearnel, I wasn't invited.
And then how you going
the document with the orders to resume work, because when the tribunal met, there was no work stoppage. There was no work stoppage when the workers met. And that document came in my office, Deacon.
Sunday.
Sunday.
So
9 o'clock Sunday.
Let me just clarify now. The occasion when the Industrial Disputes Tribunal determined to make the back to work order, you and your clients were not involved?
Then the workers didn't know about it. The union didn't know anything about it.
Well, then it can't be a valid thing.
Well, they said the law say you can do it ex parte.
The law does say.
So why you would do that? You didn't refuse to come. No, but you didn't refuse to.
No,
I didn't know about it.
Hold on. No, I remember what the law. I'm reminded what the law says. But if that is intended to apply when one party simply says, "I am not coming into this thing at all. I am boycotting it."
I understand the law.
Yes, but where you are ready and willing and have shown in the past your earnest to have some conciliation take place. Yes, you never walk out of the meeting. Is the management you say do so? Then how they can issue any ex parte order? What damn foolishness is that?
We have been to the tribunal 3 times on a trot. We have been to the tribunal under Dwight Nelson. We have been under Marshall Smith, and we have been under Dana Robert. We have never refused to go to the tribunal. In fact, on Monday morning, I wrote to the chairman of the tribunal asking him to set up an emergency meeting so we can discuss the whole thing. And he wrote back and said, no, he's not doing it.
Well, it's quite clear what Pearnel.
Hold on.
No, that don't make sense.
The tribunal can say to the union and the management, come on Monday morning at 9 o'clock. And the tribunal can say, before we proceed, is there a strike? Yes. You have to send the workers back to work.
And there was no strike. Proceed.
But they didn't. This was not the case,
Pearnel, on Saturday morning, there was no strike. On Sunday morning, there was no strike.
So I don't understand.
The workers stopped working on Monday when they heard that the matter was referred to the tribunal and nobody invited them.
So no, hold on now, gentlemen. This is not 1938, you know.
No.
I'm going there because
1938 that wouldn't happen.
No. This contempt of workers' rights, yes, is more than one instance now, you know, because it applies, in my view, to what is happening in the security guard industry as well. And there's a general feeling. There's a general feeling that the development path in this country must no longer be led by labor, which is my principle, but rather that labor must take whatever anybody else fling at them.
No, but let's straighten out one thing, Vince, straighten this out for me. The tribunal can meet without the union and the management.
Why would they do that?
The law.
No, the tribunal cannot meet without the management and the management of the union. The tribunal is a tripartite body, and it's supposed to.
Well, why would they do it? Whether
the whole question of partnership and tripartism.
Whether they can or can't. Why would they?
The tribunal would not meet and carry on business if there is a strike.
But apart from the theory, Pearnel, why would a tribunal, if the intent is to solve a problem, and the parties have been sitting down talking, why would you try to do anything without them?
Ronnie, if there is a strike.
There wasn't. That's
what I'm saying. If there was no strike.
But you must support Vin.
But if there was no strike, then the tribunal cannot say, go back to work. The tribunal cannot say there should be no strike. So tribunal must meet with the management and the worker.
Absolutely. So I want to hear now. I'm interested in work and progress and productivity. Yes, I'm wanting now. The workers have been out since Monday. Today is Wednesday. Yes, have you been summoned to a meeting of the tribunal, Mr. Morrison?
No, I have written to the tribunal
and right back and say no.
A meeting.
Yes.
And they wrote back to say no, they're not doing it.
So what is their use? What is their use? What breaks this thing now? That is why I go back to 1938. I'm a radical in this regard, Pearnel.
Yeah, but hold on.
This is ridiculous.
Let me tell you, as a trade union, is what breaks it. The tribunal invite both of them 9 o'clock Monday morning.
They haven't.
Hold on, no.
But they haven't.
And the tribunal said, before we enter into any discussion,
that's a different matter.
Is there a strike?
So have they done that?
No, but that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Well,
if I were chairman, that is what I would do. If I was Minister of Labour, that's what I would do.
Sir, first of all, Vin is saying the minister has been absent as far as he knows. Be that as it may, for whatever reason, I make no comment. Secondly, he has written to the chairman of the tribunal to ask him to do exactly what you are saying, and he gets back a letter saying can't do that.
Who?
The chairman writes Vin, say he can't do that.
Well, Vin, you know
you're
that.
A joke.
You're
really a joke.
Vin, you know that the tribunal is supposed to invite you and the management and say to you, we will not do any business unless there is no strike. Our shutdown, management shutting down our workers' strike. There must not be any of that while the tribunal is sitting.
But we have accepted that, sir. So therefore, if the chairman had responded to Morrison's letter on Monday morning saying, come now, yes, we're having a meeting, and before you go in, let's make sure that there's no strike action. Yeah, that I understood. That is according to law, but that is not what is the situation now. So everybody, what have we done? We string out ourselves. And then find ourselves in an impasse, and everybody feel they're righteous. What kind of damn foolishness is this? You can't run a country like that.
Take it easy. Right?
No, not taking it easy.
Vin.
Yeah.
If we were talking to the veterinary trade unions,
Veteran Trade Union Association.
They would have said to you,
Co-President Vincent Morrison and Pearnel Charles.
They would have said to you, come to my office at 9 o'clock Monday morning and ask both management and you to give a statement. What is the state of affairs at the workplace?
Hugh Shearer, where are you? Michael Manley, come down from heaven, rise up from Heroes Park, both of you, and come and fix this situation. My God, man, we want progress, we don't want backwardness.
Why are you?
Forward ever, backward never.
Why are you disturbing them when they grieve and I am here?
Well, indeed, you put your mouth into it, but you're talking theory when practice is defeating the theory.
Vin, you need to...
Yes, sir.
I'm going to leave the two of you now to finish it up.
No,
what is the solution, Mr. Morrison?
Solution is
we're talking to the workers later. We have a meeting with them. We were at Thwaites this morning. And this afternoon, we're heading for your turn to have a word with them.
To get them back to work?
I don't want to comment myself there.
Right.
I won't be at the meeting. I'm with the dental surgeons at the Ministry of Finance.
We're coming to them
John
right
Levy
now.
and Harris, they are the two persons who have asked to assist me there.
Yes, sir.
They will go. We are lawful, We're lawful, we believe in the law. But we also believe in democracy.
So tell me something now. The Russian man have all the power in this country?
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. All the power. He gets up and walk out the meeting. I'll tell you what he did. When the claim was served on the company, he asked the chief delegate who handed him the letter, and he said, look, let us go to the tribunal. And the tribunal will take 2 years.
Yeah.
And, this is the third. This would have been the fourth matter. In fact, about 8 cases that we have gone to the tribunal with over about a 3 year span.
Why would the tribunal take 2 years?
The management is virtually saying, look, maybe we can solve this problem. Let the tribunal solve it.
Yeah. Well,
you can't run a company like that.
We can't build a nation like that neither, sir. Yeah, that can't work that way.
Bauxite,
on your account.
The intention, Ronnie, is to dig out the bauxite, sell it to themselves. The company sets the price, they set the target, and they sell the product to a company called RTI, a subsidiary
of their own self.
Of the Russian company.
Are we collecting the levy even, or are we still in this profit sharing agreement, which they tell us how much profit they make?
After they got 64 million US waiver.
Yeah, 64 million waiver.
I think the government of the day has decided, so look, you have to go back to the levy arrangement.
Yes.
After 64 million.
After accepting that.
Yeah.
Boy, I tell you. And then picnic can't get food in a school. You can't find money to run local government elections. But you can give away that kind of money to bauxite, and then what they do is long out their tongue at you and do this abuse of their labor. I don't know whether your claim is valid or not.
I don't understand what you. I don't understand that.
You understand it well.
I want to hear this.
I don't understand how the food is
important. Justice.
They don't pay for public holidays, and you know, there's 75% of the workforce are temporary people. No medical coverage, no insurance coverage for them.
So you sound like security guard.
You're just taking over this company now.
Bauxite now is almost at minimum wage.
You look like security guard now.
No, but are you just taking over this company, or it's been there for a long time?
2012, what they did in 2010, they make everybody redundant and put in a contract they call a fixed-term contract. And things like redundancy, Pearnel, they said the workers have waived the right to redundancy. In fact, they gave the worker a contract and said if you don't sign, you cannot work.
No, brethren, you can't opt out of the law, Mr. Morrison. You, Mr. Charles, and yourself know that. That is the same thing.
If you don't sign the fixed-term contract that has no pension, no payment for overtime, no payment for holidays.
No, but were the workers represented?
We brought us to the tribunal 3 times. Have been in front of the tribunal.
So we know,
the tribunal has not ruled.
Jamaicans abroad, Jamaicans locally understand how the power structure go in this country.
No, but Roddy, I still want to find out something. Were these workers represented by any union?
Whether they were or not. He's going to ask you.
It could be that they've been represented by union for years and don't have these things.
Well,
we got bargaining rights in November 2015. Between 2010 and 2015, there was no union there.
Okay.
So they put its workers on a fixed-term contract.
Look at that then. Look at this is not unique to bauxite. This is in fact happening all around. What do you think, Ben Morrison, because time is on us, what do you think?
I want to commend 2 ministers. I want to commend Minister Clark for digging it out of the public sector, the fixed-term contract situation. I want to commend Minister Horstrom, who instructed the police correctly yesterday, because the worker had gone a step ahead by blocking the Lindsay Road, and I went up there and tell the worker it can't work, and they agreed with me and clear it. So I want to commend Minister Chang for the instructions that he gave to the police yesterday.
Okay, and
we are ready and willing to meet at any time.
Yeah, good. All right.
To sit with the company and work out an arrangement. A wage level that is in line with inflation.
Well,
a little more money to assist the worker with laundering them uniform. A little more money to assist the workers with transportation.
Well,
the manager feels that the workers have too many motor cars. And what he said is about sell the cars and buy a bicycle.
The manager said that?
The managing director said that. You can quote me over and over on that.
Well, no, but that kind of thing is enough to make, for me, that would be persona non grata in this country. You can't come into this country and tell me that. I don't care how much money you come with. You cannot do that. That is disrespectful.
Sell the car and buy a bicycle.
Yes, okay.
That's what it told the workers.
Right.
Because the workers trust some cars.
No, it doesn't matter.
To work early.
No argument.
So they can produce more bauxite and aluminum.
No argument. The man is rank.
Yes.
So, Vin.
It's rude. I've never met a manager in my years in the movement. I've never met
you're letting Ronnie change color on me here. Him knows getting red.
Hey, remember Derule and Estrada.
Let us see the way forward, Vin. The workers are now on strike, right?
We are hoping that the government will intervene, we on one side, the company on the other side, and we take maybe an hour or two to arrive at a document that we can sign and take to the workers.
2023, we have to beg for that.
We have an understanding. Go back to work.
Then we know the trade. Say in other words, you don't want the thing to go how the trade union should have it. That you and the management should be invited.
That's what he
to
said.
Come to a meeting.
He said the government should
with this understanding that there's normalcy at the workplace, and you put your claim before the tribunal. You can't have a tribunal not meeting and you are on strike on this. I mean,
I want to support.
Pearnel, you're right. Back to the traditional approach. The traditional approach has worked for the workers.
I want Pearnel Charles to take sides with the workers of Jamaica along with Vincent Morrison. Yes, that is what
you don't have to invite that approach. That is us.
That is given.
That is given.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And I am saying it is also
going to take 11 months. The last tribunal took 11 months to settle the matter.
Why they take that length of time?
You have to have a settlement.
They can't work faster than that.
So that the tension, the demotivation can be sorted out within 2 weeks. So, no longer than that.
Well, I would have. Don't you have a worker representative?
Vincent, before you go, just give me one sentence. What is the management position in this?
The walkout.
The management
has been negotiating bad faith. The management is saying you take that or you leave it, and they walk out of the meeting. We spent 3 days at the Ministry of Labour.
We're repeating ourselves now. Listen, we're going to
3 days at the Ministry of Pearnel. We spent 3 days at the Ministry of Labour.
Hold on, Vincent Morrison.
And not one item.
You made your point. Let's take the break, and when we come back, what's the situation with the security guards and the contracts they're being obliged to sign? Soon come back. This is The Bridge. This is The Public Eye. Thanks for being with us on the final quadrant of The Public Eye on the Bridge 99 FM. To the diaspora, to the world, Vincent Morrison of UCASE is our guest, veteran trade unionist, contending with Pearnel Charles, equally veteran trade unionist. Vincent Morrison, switch from the bauxite to the security guards now. Not unionized, recently declared by an order of the court, not by the writ of government, but by the order of the court, that they are employees rather than contractors. But now they're being asked to sign a contract confirming that they are contractors, not employers, and being asked to forget any benefit, any all length of service that has gone in the past. Am I correct?
Your summation is correct, Ronnie, but let me just add a little to that. When Justice Batts made the order in September last year, Justice Batts was not making the law, because as you know, judges don't make the law.
Right.
Judges interpret the law.
Right.
In 2002, March 2002, the Parliament amended the Labor Relations Industrialist Act to define a worker. Mm-hmm. They call it definition of work. Justice Batts was using that definition to
applying it to the circumstances of the people at Marksman.
Yes.
And now
so
the
guards were employees not from September last year, but from when the Parliament of Jamaica.
Yeah.
And I think both you and Pearnel remember that.
Both of us were there and both supported that.
Right. So for you to say to the guards, no, you're going to get a 1-year contract with 3 months probation. Some of these guys have 40 years service.
Yeah. I know
so one of them told me that his grandfather or his father bicycle helped start the company.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Benjamin usually borrowed that bicycle to start the company.
Yes, sir.
Now, our position is that you can't, after workers, sign away benefits. I mean, I have one in front of me here now. Let us read it quickly what it says. I hereby confirm that I have no pending claims, proceedings, or disputes with you of any nature whatsoever, and that I waive my claims or disputes that I could have. I conditionally release and discharge you from all past liabilities to the fullest extent possible under law.
You can't do that.
There are workers who have got injured on the job and have pending claims in the court.
Who are giving up that now? And where is the Minister of Labour? Where is the government? Where is the Parliament holding a special system to defend?
Hold on, Ronnie. Vin, you and I.
The minimum wage act.
You reading?
Was passed in the 70s.
Yeah.
Work with security guards.
Yeah.
For security guards. They are entitled to vacation leave.
Yeah.
So, 40-year service, and you want me to sign that?
Vin, you and I.
But hear what happened, finally. Hear what happened. The Labour Ministry, there are two views coming out of the Labour Ministry. Pearnel, I can show you a letter that was written by one official, which said the right thing. That letter was sent to the company. My understanding is that the letter was withdrawn and something else was sent that watered down the rights of the workers.
I hope they are in court.
Vin, you and I should be very upset with the security guards. We have spent thousands and thousands of dollars, put them together, trying to unite them years ago. You recall?
Yes. But,
okay. No. Hold on. I am not taking it out on them. I'm saying something has got to be wrong somewhere for them to be signing a contract without an organization.
Because they're not unionized, and because for two reasons. They may have been reticent about joining a union, but you know, sir, I know that they were, if they had any time they joined the union or tried to, that's the last day they would have worked.
No. Because Vin and myself gathered them several times, and a few workers go back to the management and get some of them fired. Now, when workers unite, nobody can fire them.
Well, I'm not sure about that in our climate now. So what I'm saying,
they are uniting now and they are being fired because dozens of them have called me since morning to say they went to work, and because they didn't sign the contract,
no way they
have been told no duties there for them.
That's right.
But they don't have an organization that sits around the table with the management.
No, but they can't sit around.
But the management can't have a contract that the workers don't have a part in it.
But they do.
You should not.
But they do it right now.
The contract has to be an agreement between the workers and the management.
I agree with you, sir. So where is the Ministry of Labour in all this?
Somebody Vin has to go to the Ministry of Labour.
Vin is telling us that the Ministry of Labour is not being very supportive.
Vin knows how to get to the Ministry of Labour.
No, but
the Ministry of Labour and you advise them.
Look whose onus you're putting it on. You're putting it on somebody who is an amicus, a friend for the workers. He doesn't represent them, but he who is perhaps the only militant trade unionist left, with great respect to you, in Jamaica, yes, is assisting them, yes, against
pro
bono, no money, against a battery of lawyers. Listen to that contract that's been read out to us. Yes, this is a reversal of the entire nationalist and independence project. It is a subservience of the workers of this country, a significant number. I'm not giving them.
You can't grow economy on that basis.
I'm not giving them all rights. It's undoubtedly a grave economic situation where they now have to make good to these workers and to pay them difference, and it's going to affect the employment, the numbers, all of those things. But you cannot start by in fact ignoring the basic injustice of what they're being asked to do. I believe it is challengeable legally, you know, Vin.
Yeah,
so that's what you are saying is so.
Yes.
The workers are being asked to
we're going to put it together to assist the workers.
Yeah,
legally and otherwise.
But the problem is that will take time, that will take money. Yes, while these people who are earning pretty little.
If I have to go and kneel at the feet of Justice Thwaites, I will do that. They're asking for some special accommodation to help these workers.
Well, but then why do we have a government? Look at the advancement of the workers, not in any extravagant sense, but in the way that is provided for by law and by the constitution of this country, I believe, have to depend upon the courts for their rights, not upon the government that is a labor government.
No, but Ronnie, you don't understand the trade unions part, so let me just explain to you. Right? You cannot, Vin and myself could not get into the harbors, these workers. Yeah. We tried to take bus and carry them to prison.
No,
they allow the management to fire one another than working with them. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. So right now, if they are ready, they need to be organized, that they have leaders who can sit at the table with leaders of the team, of the management team, and work out. If they're going to sit there and get letters to sign.
Pearnel, that may be so, but they need help now.
They need help now. Boy, what a situation the country is in, eh? Vincent Morrison, we appreciate your role in the struggle. We're anxious that people abroad as well as locally understand it. Thank you so much for all you've said. And
thank you for all this. I have to run. I have a meeting at the Ministry of Labour with the dental.
That's another subject, but we'll get to that in another time. Take care. Good. Vincent Morrison, President of UCASE, veteran trade unionist. Mr. Charles, it don't look good.
I'm ready to help you. Call me.
Aye. Thank you so much. That's what I'm pleased to hear. We need a united front in respect of this. And that's it for the public eye and the open mind on the Bridge 99 for this Wednesday. Honorable Pearnel, Charles, veteran trade unionist. Good, strong arguments today. We always thank you. People of Jamaica and Jamaican origin, wherever you are, understand the goodwill of all our discussion, but understand the strength of the power of labor, the devolution of capital, the unity that we need in this country to really achieve our greatness. Looking forward to be with you on the bridge next week, Wednesday. Thanks to LaFay, to Jeff, to everybody. All the best.